Lunch Money Lambert, Jeff Malott. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Yeah. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation, where we talk about fishing and competition. It's your boy Ox Pippin, aka Ox Fishing. Don't come over here tripping. Hey, hope you enjoy the show. Jeff Malott, Lunch Money Lambert, Lego. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Kayak Bass Nation. Hey, welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation. Welcome to the Kayak Bass Nation.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday night. Hope everybody's doing great. It was a long Monday for me. I'm still trying to get my wits about me, Ryan, to get going.
What'd you do? What happened, Jeff? Crazy day at the VA?
Crazy day at the VA. You know, I do, for those that don't know, in my real life, I work at the VA and I run employee training. And today was our new employee orientation. I had to talk all day long to these new employees, which was great, but I'm exhausted.
Yeah, they're wearing you out.
I don't like talking to people, even though I do this show and do what I do for a living. I don't like talking.
I mean, I feel that. I actually don't like to be around people, but I love to be around people at the same time. So
yeah,
it's crazy.
That part, see, that conundrum is exhausting.
Yeah, and you can't drink at work usually, so
That's
it's
right.
really hard for me to mentally prepare for that.
Yeah. But I love talking to all the people on here that join us on Monday nights, so it'll be fun. And welcome back. We had young Dylan on last week helping out.
How'd he do? How'd old Dill do? He sent me a picture of his screen name, which is my Snapchat. My Snapchat name, not Ryan Lambert, to keep me out of trouble for legal reasons.
He did pretty good, man. He did pretty good. He talked about himself too much, but other than that, he was all right.
Yeah, we had fun down there. I don't know how. I swear every time I'm never going to go back down there and fish that river with him. I say it every single time, and he's always like, man, it's going to be great this time. You got to come down. So I drive like 4 hours, sleep 2 hours, and fish all day like an idiot. But
yeah,
it was fun, man. It was a good time.
I kept calling it the Three Rivers Throwdown from back in the day.
Well, they went with a Three Rivers deal, and I think there was some kind of hope on reviving that. But to be honest, those rivers were pretty blown out, and it almost became a flatwater throwdown, I think, with just a couple lakes involved. And after we launched initially, I was ready to get back to flatwater in a hurry. That was too much.
Yeah. Good stuff. We missed you. We hope you had a great time.
I did. We had a big dinner in Nashville trying to get some stuff done for my buddy, and I think it all worked out. So hate that I missed it, but glad that I did at the same time.
Yeah. All right, so tonight we're talking Saginaw Bay. We're going to lead off the show with our man Gilbert, who was on last year for winning the Native Saginaw Bay event, the Native No Limit event. He finished fourth in this one, took big bass. We think we're going to have young Edwin, who's on a roll like he always does each summer.
He's trying to get home. His ETA changed a little bit, so we're hoping he can jump in the last half of the show.
Yeah, and there's an outside shot. The third place guy, Alex Roberts, is going to be in here too. But it's his anniversary.
It's his anniversary. Happy anniversary, Alex. We again do not want to get you in trouble, but would be happy to have him on and kind of share what he figured out up there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'd say at this point it's August. We're more than halfway through the season, right? What are your thoughts on what's going on so far this year? It's been a wild up and down with attendance. Bass seems to be keep chugging along, with the other series, it's kind of peaks and valleys, right?
I mean, I think we saw kind of the shift once Steve-O was announced, which, you know, if you go back and watch our first episode when we had Bass on with the Kayak Series on this show, literally the advice was you need to hire Steve-O to run the thing. They did it, and you have seen the influx and I think also kind of the experience of the events. People talking about them, hyping them up, how much Steve-O cares about everybody and he cares too much. And I tell him this all the time, like he cares about everyone's experience, good, bad, or otherwise. But I think you're seeing kind of that connection come into play a lot with bass. I think Hobie, they have made some changes up in the TOC qualifiers. I think staying at 50 was good. I think that was that's what made it elite. I don't think you need to expand the TOC stuff. But I think, scheduling has become much tougher. People are trying to prioritize a lot more things. You have a lot more state-run Bass Nation events that are really good. You obviously have the National Bass Series, and then you have Drew, with his new series this year too. So I think people are having to kind of allocate time a little bit better. Obviously, the economy's not doing great, so I think that also affects kind of what people can afford to go do.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you're looking at TDs, AJ and Steve are both on that top rung as the elite.
Yeah,
but
head and shoulders.
Yeah, as it comes down to, sometimes people got to make choices, and they can only travel so far and so much. But and the BOS is it's like Hobie Worlds was unbelievable. The BOS has had some really big events, and then dipped a few, like on the Saginaw Bay. Attendance wasn't great; it was still solid, but not what it has been in the past. I fully expect them to keep pushing forward.
I think so. I mean, those Northeast events, especially this far in the season, I think you're kind of rolling the dice on, is the location that big of a draw to pull people in? Obviously, they've had a tournament on the Susky the past couple of years, been a huge draw. I think it when you get that late in the season, you have to pick somewhere that's going to pull people for that time of the year. And for kayak anglers, I don't think Saginaw Bay has that reputation to draw that kind of numbers in.
Yeah, looking at the overhead shots, the drone shots, and the picture Steve Fields was putting up, it looks like an awesome place.
Yeah,
I mean,
it looked like a great fishery.
But and Gilbert will fill us in on that. I know he's had some success there a couple of times now. But like you said, the brand, it doesn't. When you say Susky, Fork,
yeah,
whatever,
I mean, I feel like we have some kind of established summertime hotspots, so to speak, that are going to turn out good bags. The experience is going to be good, so people are more apt to get in on that.
Yeah. Top Shelf says it'd be cool if each series regionalized. Bass in the Southeast, Hobie in Texas. I don't know, man. I don't know. That sounds good in theory, but I don't think long term it would work.
I think you're kind of knocking the other brands down. Like if you say only one can fish in the Southeast, because that still you run the numbers. The South is kind of where the main numbers of people show up from. If you look at the demographics on any of these events, and Josh Evans says hell no, he ain't trying to take that up there.
We'd love you, Top Shelf. Good in theory. I think Texas though could probably secede and just have their own pro series there and be done with it.
I mean, their Bass Nation, their tournament schedule, we've talked about it several times. It's elite. Like it is top tier fisheries, and we're seeing huge numbers out of that too. So I think it's really good.
Yeah, he does make a point there. His next comment, I can't tell whether he's coming from Twitch, Facebook, YouTube. You never know where Top Shelf's coming from. But on YouTube tonight, he's saying because nobody really goes anywhere else, and that's true. At least half the field or more is regional. I would say, right, Ryan?
I would think so. I mean, you see it. This is the easy way to figure it out is when you have a tournament, like up in Michigan, for instance, or lacrosse too. Lacrosse, though, I think lacrosse has enough of a reputation that it pulls people still, from the other regions because it's familiar. People kind of know what they're getting into when they jump in on there.
Yeah, good stuff. Good points in the comments. Appreciate y'all. We're doing another giveaway tonight. I think tonight we are up to a Seaguar pack, Ryan, according to my spreadsheet.
Perfect.
So we good with that? Seaguar giveaway
we are.
Tonight?
I'm great with that. I was actually waiting on another Seaguar giveaway to send the email to Brian because we have a previous giveaway winner that is waiting in the wings. So
there we go.
We'll get that done. We'll do one more Z-Man giveaway, and we will get, I think it was Mr. Wheeler that won the Z-Man giveaway, and I'll get both of those going out. I just don't like to email these guys like constantly trying to bum stuff. So
sure,
bear with me.
There we go. So Seaguar giveaway tonight. You guys know the deal. Like, share, comment, all the things you can do on all the platforms. Do that up, and we'll drop you a hashtag later to pick a winner. More comments coming in. Appreciate y'all. Before we get Gilbert in here and start talking about the actual event, my guy, Josh Evans, and somebody else already posted this on the group page. One of their own up there with KBF. I think I gave them the right initials. One of their own, Nate Hall. They had a horrible house fire up there. Family lost everything. There was a GoFundMe for the family to help kind of recover from some of those losses. Man, they've got some. I think they have a kid or two. 1-year-old daughter they have, and they're trying to recover from that. I don't know how much insurance is going to cover and what their insurance is like. So I'm going to drop the link to their GoFundMe in the comments. I think you can go to our group page, and Ryan Van Tyne posted the same link there. But hey, you know how we do when someone's down in this community, we try to rally. So if you could spare a few dollars, throw them towards the Hall family. All right.
And when stuff like this happens, people are always like, oh, do they not have insurance? Shit like that. If you've never dealt with an insurance company, that's the last person that wants to give you money, and they'll drag it out for 6 or 8 months. So, let's help these folks out and bridge the gap here till they get it worked out with insurance.
Yeah, Ryan's right. They're looking for reasons not to pay, and if anything, it's going to be more like a reimbursement than a payment. You're going to have to figure it out short term on your own.
Yep.
So there you go. Help them out. Kayak Bass Nation. That's why we're the nation. Do your thing.
Amen.
Yeah, man. With that said, let's shout out the sponsors and get Gilbert in here. Yeah, Top Shelf. Top Shelf's in there with the comments tonight. Eco Fishing Shop. I always try to mention as we're in the second half of the season, the Big Bass 250 that Eco Fishing Shop is sponsoring on Lake of the Ozarks. Ryan and I are still kicking around ideas of like a King of the Hill cornhole tournament of some sort. What do you think, Ryan? Do we want to do some sort of prize pack, some sort of cash pile? What are we going to do for that?
I mean, I'm up for any suggestions. We can put together a prize pack for the winner. Jeff and I had actually maybe discussed the KBN hosts here teaming up and do like, I don't know, y'all can pick the number, $20, $50, $100 a game, and whoever beats us gets the entire pot.
There you go. There it is. I was going to
And
say,
if nobody beats us, I'll spin it on a bar tab for all of you, so I don't care.
That's right. We won't take the money. We'll pay it back. We'll pay it forward. I was going to say I'll throw something else in. If they beat us, I'll shave my head.
Ah, there you go. All right, clean skin for Jeff.
Yeah. So Eco Fishing Shop, man, they're hosting the 250. It's going to be huge, and as always, they're pushing out the top shelf, pun intended to our viewer there, but top shelf kayaks, all the gear you need. EcoFishingShop.com. Hit them up and do that. And tonight I'm wearing the Western Sun swag, right? Throw back to my original Western Sun hat that I got years ago.
Throwback, Arkansas colors.
That's right. Calzone, the Calzone. Western Sun out of Pilot Point, Texas, man, we appreciate them. They do a lot for kayak fishing in Texas. They do a lot for kayak fishing in general by even supporting this podcast. So shout out to those folks. You can find it at more and more places. So go to your local liquor store or hit up Drizzly and see if you can get a bottle of Western to the house. I'm partial to the watermelon. I like the watermelon a lot.
You do? I like prickly pear pretty good, actually. It's pretty solid.
Yeah. Pro Guide Lithium, official battery at KBN. If you want a high quality battery that's not gonna burn out, not gonna go dead before a tournament, during a tournament, go with the best. Go with Pro Guide, okay? And then tonight we already said we're doing the Seaguar giveaway. We did Revo last week. We got some Z-Man packs to go out, and it's about time. There's some cool nights here recently. We're about a month or two out from it getting really cool, where you're gonna need that Gill gear in the mornings, right?
Mm-hmm. Keep it on you. Keep it on you just in case. You never know what that weather's going to throw at you anyway.
You never know, man. You never know. But hey, let's get Gilbert in here. He's tired of listening to us. He wants to talk about fishing. What's
all
up,
right,
Gilbert?
we'll do that for a little while, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah,
Gilbert,
man.
I really thought you were going to win this one, pal. If I was going through my short list of people that have been on the podcast for winning Saginaw Bay, you were at the top.
My first day was a rough day. It really was. I lost a couple nice bites. Yeah.
So we've had you on before for the Native No Limit tournament. But talk about, refresh our memory on kind of your experience and your proximity to Saginaw Bay. Like, how often do you get up there? Is this kind of a home field advantage kind of thing? Or is it just somewhere you feel comfortable with the way the fish position?
So I live in Clarkston, Michigan. So I live about 1 hour and 30, about 2 hours away from Saginaw to where I normally like to fish. So it's a farther drive, but I've fished it a good amount. Not crazy. I would say I might have a slight advantage, but nothing really crazy. Not like I fish it like every day. Like I would say I have more of an advantage on like St. Clair. I know more of that water, but
Should have called you. Should have called you for Worlds. My bad.
yeah, I love that lake. That lake's real fun. But yeah, so Saginaw went good. I got big bass. It 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 was tough out there. The first day was cold front with high winds. Uh, so it made fishing very interesting, and it turned off my school of fish the first day totally off. They would not bite anything, but I kept seeing 18-inch bass and even bigger bass just going by me all day long, and they would not hit anything.
So were you scoping, or was this more of a visual thing?
No, it was all visual. So I was fishing less than 2 feet of water with a swim jig, a chatterbait, and a spinner bait and a buzz bait, going as fast as I could, covering water in about, I would say, 3/4 of a mile stretch of so it's what is that, like reeds and all that kind of stuff, and they would sit in certain spots where it was slightly deeper, and where the bait was. So I had many marks in about 3/4 of a mile, and I would just go back and forth throughout that for at least the second day. I just kept on that the whole time. The first day I went off of it, and I probably should have just stayed on it. I didn't realize how many fish were on it, but the second day when I caught that 20, and then I caught, I think, 5 or 6 18s. Yeah, it went down the second day. I wish it could have went down the first day, but I still had a great time, and I caught the big one, so that's all that matters.
Take us through that day one, man. I'm going to share my screen here for everybody to see, but yeah, you ended up 4th. So everybody would assume you had a solid day one, but day one, like you said, I mean, it wasn't a disaster, but you're down there in 24th place, man, with 81 inches.
So it was tough the first day. I did lose 2 fish over 18, one next to the boat and one just jumped off. It was rough. The fish, I still caught 30 fish, but they were all 15 inches or less. So it was just really rough. New water to me. I've never fished this water before. Last year I fished way south, where I know I can catch a lot of 14 inchers and like 15 inchers, but that was good for the no limit. But last year I think I only caught one 18-inch fish, so I knew it would not have been a good area to go there. So I ditched that, and I fished a bunch of new spots. Pre-fishing went well the whole week, besides one day, but I guess besides 2 days. Monday I caught a lot of bass. I think I caught over 75 bass, but they were all 14 inches to 17. I didn't catch one over 17 inches that whole day. But it was a fun bite on a chatterbait. Oh my God. I was in the river. I've never caught that many largemouth in a day besides on St. Clair. But it was cool. But my fish were just locked mouth. They would not bite anything on Saturday. And just, it was kind of bad. I found those fish Thursday. And I saw I had a group of about 6 or 7 just follow my swim jig out from the reeds. They were all over 18 inches. They were all just quality size fish. Yeah, it was crazy. And then Sunday when I caught the big bass, I believe I caught 12 or 13 all over 17 inches that I threw back that I couldn't even use for my limit that day. I had a really
that happens.
And any one of those fish could have helped for the day before. So it was just a little bit mind-boggling that I couldn't get them the first day, but I still had a great time and still finished really good. So
tell me this real quick, man. Do you have like Victor Wembanyama arms? Because that is a long way up in the air.
So actually, it's not as far as you would think. It's just I have the iPhone that has the camera that spans
0.5 lens.
0.5. So it's easiest to take that picture because you can see everything and you can make sure to see my code. I'm not like worrying about anything. But yeah, I'm only about this far up. My head goes right over and it's just perfectly. So
Okay. Freaking iPhones look
Got
like
that
you up
reach.
here.
Jeff don't know anything about the iPhone, so don't.
it does look like I'm up here, but no,
Yeah.
I'm right under my head when I'm taking a picture.
Don't
All right.
talk that jargon to Jeff. He ain't buying in on the iPhones.
No, man.
He's a green texter.
I'd throw that iPhone in the lake.
When we get KBN company phones, they're gonna be iPhones. We're gonna make Jeff switch it up.
No, I got a work iPhone now. I don't know what to do with it. I just stare at it during the day.
So tell us about Saginaw Bay, like how it lays out. You said you were fishing grass, fairly shallow. What's this body of water? So you said you fished a river section. So kind of describe to us the different options you have at Saginaw Bay.
So you can fish anything you could really think of. So there's the main river, which is a lot of standing timber, rocks, a lot of banks, lots of duckweed, lots of weeds, a ton of it. But the thing is, we had rain the Tuesday. So the Tuesday prior, we had about an inch of rain. So that basically made the whole river chocolate milk water. So I knew the fishing would be iffy on the river. So it was going to be rough. So I ditched that plan and focused all my time on the west side of the bay. The east side of the bay. No, the west side. I focused all my time on the west side of the bay, and because of the wind was going to be blowing about 30-mile-per-hour gusts all of Saturday and most of Sunday. So it was quite windy, so nobody could go find smallmouth.
I think
at all.
Siddiqui tried and almost met his peril trying to find smallmouth on Saturday, from my understanding.
Yeah. So I was on the west side, and I looked out, and it was at least 3 foot, 4 foot waves, enough to where I'm like, okay, I'm not going more than 500 feet off the bank. And my spot was about 3.5 miles from the boat launch. So it was quite a journey trying to get there at 6 in the morning.
So it looks like there's a ton of like pencil grass, like grass above the water. Is there a lot of milfoil and stuff there too? Like, is there a lot of submergent vegetation or what's the layout?
Everything you can really think of, it's there.
Okay.
So everything, so the main lake is a lot of that grass, like you were saying. There are some rocks across the lake, a lot of little channels and like little coves you can go into. They all fish well, but then if you go more north towards All Gray or like Bayport, there's a lot more standing rock, and that's where the smallmouth live. But nobody could get to them with the wind. If someone could find them and could get there with the winds, I wouldn't be surprised if somebody got like 96, 97 inches pretty easily of smallmouth. And big bass probably would have been a 21-inch smallmouth. But with our wind, it was kind of cruel that first day. It was cold. We had a pretty big cold front come in, and it just made fishing really tough. So
it sounds like, when this was announced, I assumed it was going to be a smallmouth deal, like to win, right?
Yes,
when it was announced.
I thought the same thing, but once I saw that radar from a week out, I'm like, nope, none of it's going to be even. Nobody will be even able to get to it. There was a sailboat out of the river that actually capsized that day too. So it was pretty gnarly out there the whole Saturday. Sunday was nicer, but still pretty bad.
That's what I was going to ask. Why do you think more people didn't try to move on the smallmouth on Sunday?
I think a lot of people wanted just to fish the same stuff and not go explore new stuff. Unless, I guess, if somebody found them in pre-fishing. But the thing is, Thursday and Friday, the wind was also blowing pretty well. Wednesday was like one of the only nice days to pre-fish. Tuesday was high rain. The wind was a north wind, so you couldn't really even go on the bay because you'll just get pummeled with a north wind. And also with the high wind from the west, Saturday and Sunday, it also dropped the water on the west side very quickly. and made all of it go to the east side. So the water was up probably about a foot on the east side on the other way. So if current does make a big difference on that lake, highly, that I've learned. So
yeah, let's go a little bit more into your day two, man. I mean, obviously day two is when you made the big run. You know,
yeah,
biggest limit of the tournament. Came in with that 20-inch largemouth to take it, but I want to focus over there on the right hand side. 5 plus 12 on the fish limits there. So, and you said you probably caught triple that. I don't know. What were the
Yes.
numbers like on Sunday for you?
So I probably caught close to 65 bass that day. It was quite interesting. If it was a no limit, I would have probably doubled my score from last year. I just got on a really good schooling pattern, and it was every 2 or 3 casts I would catch a fish. It was just insane. I even set hook on a fish that day and broke my rod right in half. I don't know what it was. If it was a bass, it was over 20 inches, but I think it was just a big northern pike. But there was just so many fish in my area.
So how far, we can see from your 0.5 lens, pencil grass on the sides, on either side of your kayak. Were you deep back off the edge, or like what was it that these fish are holding on?
I was casting at the reeds. So I would sit in the pencil reeds and cast at like the reeds that are tall that you can flip and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I figured out they were mostly on the edges of that, and I would just go down the bank fishing all of that. And yeah, I caught fish. There was just so many fish that every time I caught a fish over 16, I just hit myself in the back because I knew any of one of those fish could have helped me the day prior.
But you fished the same stretch of water both days?
Yeah, because I knew they were.
That's faith.
I knew they were there.
And was it reloading, I guess? They just kept coming in there, or was it just that population that's in that grass you were in?
That population of that area, there was so much bait, there was so much perch and bluegill. It was just stupid. I lost 2 bites Saturday. They're probably both over 18 inches. It would have made a big difference. But besides that, they just weren't biting Saturday. But I knew they were there.
With all the perch and bluegill, were you throwing a like bluegill pattern swim jig, or were you just going with a white swim jig?
So I was throwing only a bluegill swim jig. I was throwing a dirty jigs, 1/4 ounce swim jig with a Strike King Rage Menace rigged sideways so it looks like a bluegill or a perch going through the water. And I truly, that day, I was pulling my bait out of the water, and I had a 7-inch perch following my bait. It looked exactly like my bait. I'm like, this is why I'm getting bit.
Match the hatch, baby.
Yeah, it was beautiful. It just went down that day. I have no words for that day. It was fun. And, yeah.
Did you have any company in your area, or was it all yours?
By the launch, I had a lot of people, but none of them really left that area. That was one of my spots that I fished a lot on Saturday too, but I didn't catch much. That's why I should have stayed on my one area. But it was about 3.5, 4 miles away from the boat launch, so it was a good run.
Did you see anyone overly emotional at the boat ramp or upset that there were so many people?
Yeah, no, I guess not. But there was that first day probably about 20 people on my ramp.
Oh wow!
So, and most of them literally went out of the boat launch and then started fishing the second they got to the reeds. So that area, when I pre-fished, was also probably one of my best areas, or second best area. And I thought I could get a limit of 17s there if I flipped all day. But just with that high wind, it made flipping almost impossible, truly, because you got to go pretty far in the reeds to get a bite. Because they weren't sitting on the outside edge. And from what I saw from people pre-fishing, a lot of them were fishing the outside edge in that area. But the only way I could get good bites there was flipping as far as I possibly could into it and praying to God I got the fish out of it. So, yeah.
Yeah. any questions for Gilbert, please throw them in the comments here. We want to get those questions to him regarding the northern fisheries up there. Obviously, typically, especially largemouth, a 20 is a big fish up there. It's a big fish anywhere, for being honest, but especially up in the north. But the numbers are always there. But this seems to hold just a slightly above average size largemouth population than a place like, let's say, La Crosse or some of those other places where it seems to be more 16s and 17s. Is that a fair assessment?
Yeah, there is a lot of 17 to 18 and a half inch fish in Saginaw, more than you can quite imagine, but there's still so many 14, 15 inchers, like, so many. Like, it's just unbelievable how many fish live there. And the thing is, I remember I went Friday, I went to a different area. I only caught 2 bass that whole day pre-fishing, and a bunch of bowfin, pike, even a walleye and a drum, all up shallow. So that was a waste of time, but I already knew what I was going to do from Thursday pre-fishing, and I found that one school, and it had 2 other schools of fish. So yeah.
What kind of kayak were you running, and were you running a motor making that 3.5-4 mile run there?
So I've now got a Hobie 360, 14 foot, the Ike edition, the red color one, which I love so much.
Do you have the teeth stickers on it?
No, I do not.
Okay, that's probably why you did well.
That would have scared them. That would have scared them off.
They think it's a predator coming in if you have the teeth on.
Yeah, and I have the Newport 300, the NK 300.
So you're moving pretty good then. So that 3.5-4 mile run probably wasn't too bad on you.
No, it wasn't too bad. But I did have issues with the week with my my belt of my system of the 300 of my
360
of my 360, so I couldn't use my drive at all for the tournament. But it's being warranted as we speak, so I'm really happy about that. And yeah,
I feel like that's one of the things with the 360 is, it's got maintenance that you have to do, and it's bit me in the ass before. It can throw your tournament day off. At least you figured it out in pre-fishing and it wasn't a surprise like halfway through the tournament, so that's good.
Yeah, so I figured it broke on me Wednesday. I was at a local derby near my house when it broke, but I proceeded to fish Thursday and Friday, which is my paddle and my 300, and it got it done. I still had a great time, but I still love that kayak. It's still the best kayak I've ever had in my life.
Do you have foot steering rigged up on yours, or?
Yes, I have Tim Percy foot. I have the Tim Percy foot steering.
Gotcha.
So it makes it very easy to go down a bank fishing wise. And then most of the day I didn't have to go far into the reeds, so I was just in the pencil reeds a lot of the time, casting towards the reeds because they were on the outside of the reeds. So it just made it, and the motor could easily go through that. It could really go through anything, especially if you trimmed it up a little bit, which I learned I can do very well with it, actually.
Little pro tips for the Newport owners out there.
Yeah, you just have to get a right pulley system and a cleat, and once you get it dialed, it can go through pretty shallow water without an issue.
Yeah, going back to this is not a Hobie tournament, but the Bassmaster Championship down on 10 Killer. That was the key to Drew getting where he got. He was able to take his motor and trim it. Like, he spent time before the tournament began knowing that he had to trim it up. Very, very unique setup to get up the shallow river. Mm-hmm. And that's what he did. So yeah, there's all kinds of tricks you can do with your motors to gain ground, to get access other areas, right?
Yes. If I couldn't trim my motor, it would have been a lot of time spent getting weeds out of it. But yeah, once I figured out how to trim it correctly, I figured that out Monday because I knew I had to figure out something to get through the weeds and the muck. And I knew the water would drop in a lot of the spots, so all my spots would get even more shallow.
How long till somebody makes a jack plate for a kayak motor? That'll be next, is a hydraulic jack plate on a kayak.
Yeah. You know what's funny, Ryan? I've been watching these videos. I think Christine put one out and some other people have too, but like, they're backing their trailer in the water, they're driving their kayak up onto the trailer.
Oh yeah.
I mean, we're almost there.
Yeah, we're so close. We're so close to being the poorest anglers on the water. We're almost there.
We are almost there. I mean,
we're doing great.
The Just Buy a Boat folks were almost.
Yeah. Watch out, Tiny Boat Nation. We're coming for you. You out there in your $11,000 flat bottom.
Yeah, we're almost. We got you already on that. It's just funny, you know. I mean, it was inevitable, I guess, but it's just funny how the parallels are lining up for us here. Electric jackplate. Yeah, there you go. Sponsored by ProGuide Jackplate.
That'd be nice.
Chris over on YouTube, man.
Jackplate.
Yeah, he's asking us over on YouTube, what's your chatterbait rod and/or your swim jig rod, Gilbert?
So I was running for my chatterbait rod. I was running a 7-1 St. Croix Victory Series rod. That's a chatterbait rod. And then I was running in a medium heavy. So it's a St. Croix 7-1 medium heavy rod was my chatterbait rod, and a 7-3 medium heavy St. Croix Victory Series rod is my swim jig rod.
Which one broke in half?
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
I love their rods, and their warranty's great. So it
was a St. Croix. It was one of the. Was it the Victory? Which one broke? Tell me.
It was the Victory that. It was the.
It's because of your hook set. Yeah, that's what we'll say.
Yeah,
too strong, boy.
Probably because of. I think it was a big fish. I truly think it was a big ass pike. So I set hook and it just didn't move, and it was straight braid, straight 40-pound braid, and something gave out, and it was the rod. But I've had that rod.
That's the tricky part with braid, though. Like, something's got to give. If your knot's good and that stump ain't backing up on you, the rod's the next best thing.
Yeah, that fish, when I hooked it, it made so much wake. That's why I think it was a big pike. It was probably over 35 inches, but if it was a bass, it was probably 20, 21 inches all day. But it instantly broke me off and broke my rod. So,
Chris throwing in a comment on that. He runs Mojo Glass. Do you run any kind of glass or composite on your chatters? Have you ever done it?
So I have not, but I run the I forget what the Legend Elite, the glass cranking rod. I think
I threw the Legends. Is that the gold color one?
I don't know.
I used to throw the Legend glass. I'm pretty sure it was the gold colored glass rod on chatterbaits.
Yeah, so I have that one for my deep diving crankbait that I burn bottom with. So I have that.
Okay, burning bottom. There's another good hashtag for tonight.
Burn that bottom, son.
Yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you guys. Also, for Sunday, I did slow down my swim jig very heavily.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah.
That's it. Burn ends. Josh Evans. Hey, speaking of that, I was in KC last weekend, and man, Q39 barbecue. Shout out to them. Burn ends were on point up there.
Really?
Yeah.
I got to get up there. My buddy's from Kansas City. He's coming into golf with us Thursday, playing in a celebrity golf tournament Thursday, and I don't golf, so this should be a pretty comical disaster if I had to put money on it. Yeah. So if anybody's in Nashville and wants to be entertained, come on out to the Hermitage. I'll be dinging people in the head for about 6 hours.
Airborne and forward. That's the goal. That's all you need.
Story of my life, brother.
Yeah, Mike in the comments, dude. He's been to Q39. Mike knows what's up. There we go.
Levi, the Dismute motor mounts. That's another debacle from the past. Oh boy,
he was an emotional fella on the Facebook, wasn't he?
Yeah, we had some good days.
Yeah, you see, I see you start.
Todd, you're wrong. I can golf in cowboy boots, and I'll show you Thursday.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah, it's America.
It's America, right? For now, anyway. It's America. You do what you want.
Yeah, I put some thumbtacks in the bottom. I got a little grip on there.
Yeah, I see you comment or started this comment, Ryan. How long is it going to be till we hear of kayaks tossing ears and knocking off lower units? I love that. That's great. Who knows?
Probably pretty soon.
No, I mean, I think we've seen a lot of broken props and stuff, especially when we're fishing like rockier areas, and usually the skeg on the bottom of the motor kind of protects it, even if you don't have a rock guard, which Innovative Sportsman makes a great rock guard for anybody running a motor. But the skeg does a great job protecting it. I ran my motor the entire time, the Newport 180 up at Susky. But that's, if you catch it wrong, whether it's a stump or a rock or whatever, I mean, you're gonna break something. That's how that works.
Yeah. These are plastic boats with plastic props and other plastic stuff.
Everything's plastic, yeah.
Everything's plastic and electric. The real next step, y'all, is small gas outboards. That's the real next step.
People rig them up now. The question is, who's going to pony up the money to make it to make it make sense? When you start seeing the Mercury sign on the kayak events, you're going to know what's happening.
Yeah, what could go wrong with people overloading their kayak with extra cans of gas to go far?
Dude, I love it. I love it. It reminds me of like one of those Viking movies. Like we can just shoot flaming arrows at people instead of having to worry about competition.
Yeah, that's insane. Imagine somebody gets out in the gnarly waves and tosses the boat over, and we got freaking Exxon Valdez out there on Saginaw.
Yeah.
What, Todd?
Todd running up numbers on the Little League World Series here. If anybody's into sports betting, contact Todd Patrick. Is that Pendergraph's kids team, the Born Texas team? It gotta be. Who else would it be? That's little Spinny out there slinging them curveballs, boy.
If that's his team, I'm in. I'll put some money on that.
Yeah, I got money on Spinny.
Yeah, I don't know who the rest of this stuff is. Ethan Robertson over on YouTube. Do you fish rivers just as well as lakes, Gilbert?
Shallow rivers, smallmouth wise, I can do fine at. Deep like rivers, I struggle more with that. But I'm really good with like forward facing sonar and learning my graphs and doing that stuff. So I do better on clear water fisheries that are deep and just very clean. I love smallmouth. I love largemouth when they're suspended. That's what I would say I'm the best at. So I'm surprised I've done well at Saginaw 2 times now. It doesn't suit my fishing style as much as the other ways and what I'm known for in my area to be fished wise. So yeah.
So you're the Northern Edwin. That's what you are.
Yeah.
Well, clearly not, because Edwin won.
I know. That's why I said Northern.
So, but Southern Edwin still shows up to the Northern tournaments apparently. What's your favorite forward-facing sonar bait?
Drop shot. Probably a Berkeley Maxent flatworm. Okay. Or a Mega Bass 110 plus junior jerkbait. So
I got you. I didn't know if you were one of those little minnow shakers or whatever those kids do.
The stroller. What they call
yeah,
it?
whatever they do, shaking the minnow.
It's crappie fishing, y'all. It's crappie fishing.
It really is some days, but it's fun crappie fishing.
Yeah. That's right.
Have you had to run into one of those days?
Yeah. Let's see. Over on Facebook, man, we got Blake asking, what size battery are you running with that NK?
So I'm running the 36 volt 40 amp Newport battery, and I even had a spare one with me for that reason of me not having my drive to use. So I had 2 batteries with me so I could run all day, no issues, and I never even touched my second battery either day, or even when I pre-fished.
That's pretty slick.
So it runs it forever, especially for when I was in the river. I think I ran almost 14 miles that one day on Monday. Oof. So it was a long run, about 6 miles each way. So
I think that's one of the huge advantages to Newport is not only the ability to select which battery and which size of battery, but they seem to be pretty energy efficient as far as how long of a run time. I've never ran into a tournament to where I've ran out my battery on that Newport, and I think that speaks volumes because you see other brands and they have only the manufacturer's battery that will even work on the system, and then they're carrying 2 or 3 batteries because they're burning through them so much. So shout out to Newport for stepping it up a little bit there.
Yeah. I love my Newport. It's one of the coolest things, and it's helped me do really well in tournaments. So couldn't do without it.
There we go.
So,
Any more?
So
questions
Newport
for
sponsor
Gilbert?
this guy.
Yeah, or us, for God's sakes. Right, Ryan?
Okay. All right. Smooth transition. I like it.
Yeah. Nah, we love Ramel and the folks over there. They do a great job. They do.
Yeah, Ramel's been out, and I don't know when they're dropping this stuff. Ramel's been sending some good pictures of some very well thought out new products that Newport has. So looking forward to see those hit the market.
Yeah, you got some new fans in the comments. Little League Series Todd he's a big fan of Gilbert. You ever play Little League baseball, Gilbert?
No, that's
Sorry,
the one.
Todd.
That's the one sport I was horrendous at was baseball. I always
Do
played.
you have any tips for golf?
golf?
Close your eyes. Don't swing too hard.
Yeah. Or make sure to drink a lot of beer that night. The day.
I don't think I'm going to have one issue there. If there's one part of this scramble I can win, I told them I am very good at drinking and driving, so I'll handle the cart and they can do the hitting.
There we go. Here we go. Grip it and rip it, Top Shelf says. Well, Gilbert, man, we appreciate you carrying the show for us tonight.
Yeah,
as always.
and sorry to the listeners that nobody else showed up from the Saginaw Bay event.
But frankly, of everyone that could have came, I remember interviewing Gilbert last year. He would have been our favorite anyway tonight. So
entertaining young fella. We appreciate you, Gilbert, for jumping on with us.
Thank you guys for having me. It's been a great time.
Anytime. We'll see you next time there's a tournament on the Saginaw Bay.
Come south, man. Come south.
Next year, my plan is to do all the Hobie and Bassmaster tournaments.
There we go.
Ooh, all right. Going all in. I like it. Little advice: don't burn yourself out. That's if I can tell you anything about doing all this, make sure it's still fun.
That's right.
Yes.
Amen.
Very. I do a lot of weeknight tournaments on the boat and on my kayak, so I know exactly what you're talking about.
Enjoy and congratulations. Great, great finish. Congrats on Big Bass. Sorry they didn't show up on day one. Judging by your day 2 limit, I feel like this probably would have been a little different conversation here.
Yeah. But I still had a fun time and got a nice check, so I'm really happy about it.
You can't argue with that, man. Anytime you can make money doing this, you're definitely winning.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. All right, everybody. Gilbert, shout out. We'll see you next year, man. Appreciate it.
Thanks,
Take care, man.
Talk to you guys later. Bye.
See ya.
There we go, Gilbert. I like that guy, man.
Nah, he's a good kid.
He's one of the goats of the pod. I like him. Oh no. Let's see here. Let's get as you see the hashtag. I didn't go with burn in. Sorry, y'all. I went with my favorite line by Seaguar.
Dude, I throw more Red Label than anything else, mostly because that's what they sell at the gas station down the road that also sells biscuits and pizza. So naturally, that's a good stopping point on the way to the lake. I love Red Label because you don't have to change it ever. I've probably got 8-year-old Red Label on some of my reels right now. I've switched a lot of them over to the Tatsu. Obviously, that's the high-end deal. But if I'm running in a gas station and I need some line, whether it's leader or main line, you can't go wrong with Red Label. It's pretty tough.
Love me some Red Label, man. Flipping docks, flipping rocks, that stuff.
Ewing says he's going to be home in 2 minutes. I don't know. We'll play it by ear. But
sorry, Ewing, you're out. You were already on here anyway, like a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
I know. I felt like I was watching the leaderboard and I was like, be dang, we're gonna have to have Ewing back on again for the 5,000th time.
You know what though? I think the more we have him on here, he's becoming much more entertaining on camera. That's what I think.
He is, and a lot of that is speaking in front of a camera and just being comfortable in front of it. Because I know we make this look very easy and seamless, but put a camera on yourself and you'll forget all the words you know.
I still say go back and watch our first episode, and you'll be like, "What in the hell are they doing?"
That was a mess. I don't know. I don't know how we don't have civil action over that somewhere. But
if this was the UK, we'd be in prison for sure.
Come and take them, boy.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, man. Yeah. All right. We've got the hashtags coming in. We'll go ahead and make this drawing and wrap this thing up tonight. That was fun. Here we go. Who's it going to be? Not a lot of hashtags in the entries tonight, so it's going to be a tight deal here. Top Shelf entered in like 3 different platforms. Well played. Tyler, Tyler's won something on here before. I know he has.
He
I can't
has.
remember what it was. But
Say his last name.
yeah, Tyler P. Tyler P.
Exactly. Yep. You nailed it.
There you go, Tyler P. Reach out.
Shoot me a DM, Tyler, with your shipping address, and we will get that prize pack headed your way.
There you go, man. Fun show, Ryan. Glad you're back.
Yep. Let's do it again next week. What do you say?
I'm down.
All right.
Later, y'all.
Later, y'all.